back to Creasonomics with your host, Mr. Gray. I'm willing to bet that most of you don't know that Michael Jordan invested in an international esports ownership group in 2018. That's why I'm not surprised that the Jordan brand released a trove of League of Legends inspired sneakers, which includes the Air Max 90, the Blazer Mid 77, Air Force One Low, Air Force One High, Air Max 270 React, Air Max 2X, and the Joyride Dual Run 2 sneakers. But today we're not here to talk about those models. We are here to talk about the sneaker that rules them all, the Jordan 1. More specifically, the Jordan 1 League of Legends, or otherwise titled the Jordan 1 Esports for obvious reasons. Now, this is my first Jordan 1 Zoom. Up to this point, none of the pairs that released really caught my eye. First, it's important to note that this shoe is inspired by the League of Legends World Championship Trophy, which is called the Summoner's Cup. On a side note, the League of Legends World Championship is happening now and actually started on the 25th and ends on the 31st of this month. Now let's go over the features of this amazing shoe. So the side panels to the back of the mid heel is adorned with luscious light gray suede. The majority of the rest of the shoe, which would be the toe, the forefoot, the eye stays, and the eyelets, and the lower heel, all have they all basically have an iridescent tint. I also forgot to mention the Nike swoosh also includes an iridescent tint. Now the iridescent features on the eyelets, which is across here and here, and the lower heel actually have more of a metallic pop, while the iridescent features on the toe, around here, and the upper heel are a little bit more muted. Now, one difference you notice between the swoosh on this sneaker and most Jordan 1s is, of course, we all know the swoosh is typically stitched on. But instead, this one is actually inlaid into the plush suede. And if you take notice of the stitching around it, you can tell it's basically not on top as most swooshes are. It's literally inlaid inside of the suede of the shoe, which I also find as a beautiful, lovely feature. Now, one thing that did catch my eye about this shoe, when you pull it out of the box, you notice it kind of has an off-whitish, if that's a word, an off-whitish deconstruction at the upper heel. Let's just show you this real quick before I talk you to death. And if you've owned any off-whites, you know what I mean, how Off-White normally has, that sheared off areas right there where it kind of opens up parts of the shoe. The shoe liner is not connected to the collar and is sheared off at the top, as I already mentioned, similar to a Virgil Abloh creation, which I'd say is mighty ballsy, but I love it. The insole has no designs on it, save the word Zoom Air. And the laces give it a nice royal blue touch. The midsole is white, boring white, which, I shouldn't say boring. But anyway, the midsole is boring white, but the outsole is a mix of a dark gray, but majority royal blue. Now, last but not least, the tongue. Let's get into the tongue. So the tongue on your left sneaker actually says Zoom Air, and you can see the patch right here, but also it has this interesting little loop at the top. I don't necessarily know what that's for, but it just adds a little extra to the tongue. Now, on the right sneaker, you actually have something a little bit different there. You actually have what the symbol for what in League of Legends is called the Summoner's Rift. And in the middle of it, you have the Jumpman. So that's basically the difference in the tongue between the right and left shoe. So I'm going to say that this shoe has all the features of a future classic. It might not be at the top of everyone's list, but it's definitely the best Zoom to release thus far. Now let's talk about release date. It seems to have released outside of the US in some countries, and some signs point to a release on October 31st, but there's been no true confirmation on that. So keep your eyes open and stay vigilant if you want to cop a pair of these. Mr. Gray out.